So this question is, what do you think HR leaders, such as yourself, need to be thinking about most in the next 12 to 24 months? And what's your biggest concern maybe? And then what would you see as the biggest opportunity?
Yeah, and I think they're going to be one and the same. The biggest concern and opportunity are kind of one and the same to me. There are two things that I and my team are intensely focused on. One is this continuing to advance and create a more inclusive, equitable workplace, making sure that people feel a true sense of belonging here. I think it's a differentiator for us as an organization. I think it is, we have a moral imperative, and I believe organizations find themselves in a very unique spot to influence this topic. There are different social constructs and political constructs that can make things confusing. But I know here inside the company, we can stand for a more inclusive, equitable, and diverse environment where people feel a sense of belonging. And it's something that we're not all skilled at. In order to do that, I believe there is a skill and capability required to get into some uncomfortable spaces. If we find there are gender pay equity gaps, acknowledging those, addressing those, talking about those things can be uncomfortable. When we here in the U.S. and many parts of the world, there are power differences in society, and we're operating within those societies. So, really encouraging the organization to really explore where you sit in the hierarchy of power, the haves and the have-nots, and exploring what you're going to do about it as a company while we're here. That's a huge concern because we're not making progress fast enough. And I also think it's a huge opportunity for us because we can differentiate ourselves and make a difference in the lives of our founders. When they're here, they can feel that sense of belonging and safety, and they can maybe influence their communities and their networks outside the company to think differently about these topics. The second thing that concern and opportunity is in the whole space. It's still a little esoteric, but in the whole space of the impact of generative AI on the workforce. We're seeing a revolution at the moment. It's happening right in front of our eyes. The power of the ChatGPT or these other AI platforms, I think, is significant. I don't think we're all prepared for it. And I think the companies that are able to understand the risk of it and maybe the challenges of it, but also see the opportunities that it can unlock and the power that it can unlock in an organization, those are the companies that will win in the next decade. And I think we're already feeling a sense of urgency to try and get a handle on how do we cope with this emerging technology. And I think it's a really important dialogue to have over the next 12 to 24 months and beyond.
In this series, we will be speaking to a range of senior leaders who are pushing a data-driven and digital HR agenda. Make sure that you subscribe via your podcast app of choice and also via our YouTube channel for free and regular interviews with the digital HR leaders of the future.